I was reading this article, and it had like a list of all these different like quotes from like different moms that they interviewed, um, about like different topics like motherhood. And so, like the purpose of the topic was for like moms, first time moms, new moms to like share something, like some sort of aspect of motherhood that surprised them, that they felt like they were not prepared for, like at all, right? And so, which we can all totally relate to. I'm pretty sure like we've all had like and like some type of event or something like that happened to us that completely shocked us about motherhood that we had no clue about, right? We were totally ill prepared for it. So one of the ones that like really stuck out to me uh, was like a mom shared how hard, like she had no idea how hard and difficult breastfeeding was going to be for her. And so I find so many moms that face this issue that have no idea like really how breastfeeding even works, right? It's like a lot of moms, they want to breastfeed. It's all they, you know, like they feel like breast milk is the best thing for their babies and they just really, really, really want to breastfeed. But they know nothing about it. So this mom was talking about how she thought that like she was just going to give birth and that her baby would know how to latch, her body was just going to know what to do, and it was just going to bleh. Sorry guys. Ugh. Pregnancy, congestion, and sinuses is like why? But anyways, like who why? So anyways, so she just felt like she was going to give birth and automatically her body was going to start producing colostrum, and then her milk was going to come in within a few days and her baby was just going to automatically latch and it was going to be beautiful, amazing, and just stress-free, right? Wrong. Boy, was she wrong. Which so many moms are, but it's like, if you don't know, like what else, like, why would my neighbor, sir? My neighbors are doing like some like yard work in their backyard, and it's like, I swear every time I want to record something is when they start like the leaf blower, like, calm down. Okay. So anyhow, so which like so many moms make that, like it's a very actually like common mistake for a lot of moms to make. And so I just wanted to like talk to you all today, like, you know, for those of you who want to breastfeed, who are thinking about breastfeeding, to just really like, so for those of you, like, I just want to talk to those of you today who want to breastfeed, who are thinking about breastfeeding their babies, or who are already breastfeeding, to just like really think like breastfeeding is a skill. Like it has to be learned and it has to be practiced for both you and baby. As much as it would be amazing for it to be like that, where it's like you push your baby out and then everybody like rides off into the sunset and your baby gets all this great nutritious breast milk. Like that's just not the case. Like there's so many factors that goes into breastfeeding I don't think a lot of people understand. And so a lot of moms find themselves like in a situation where it's not what they expected, right? And don't get me wrong, like for some moms, it definitely does come easy, like with very little preparation ahead of time or very little like knowledge, right? Like some moms just like, it does work. And I was one of those people where, but I'm not gonna say I did not prepare, because I definitely read all the things and like super educated myself, and my husband did too, like on breastfeeding before I gave birth to my first son. So, but like when the time came and like after I gave birth and he was ready to latch on, like it just clicked right that, like first latch, he latched on, he was breastfeeding, it wasn't painful. it was like kind of easy, right? So it is very possible for it to kind of go like that. But then again, like I said, I did prepare myself like in a lot of ways, like as best as I could at the time. So, but for like women who just don't kind of go into it with like very little knowledge, it's going to be freaking hard. Like you're going to face challenges. And so that's why it's like, I really like, the point is like, I really, really encourage moms, like if breastfeeding is something you know you want to do, definitely like take a breastfeeding class. Like please take a breastfeeding class. Learn about breastfeeding, read a book, you know, because you can like Google stuff all day long, but honestly, Google's going to send you down like a rabbit hole of like a ton. There's so much different information out there, especially about breastfeeding. You're going to get the wrong information. I'm just saying, I love like, Google is not your friend when you're pregnant or when you're trying to like navigate motherhood. It's just not. Like, whereas it might like help guide you and direct you to the right place where you need to be, Googling for those general answers is not for you, because every woman's anatomy and body is different. Every baby is different. So just Googling your problem and then hoping to find your solution in Google and like a Google article or like, you know, when stuff pops up, it's just not. It may be a start, but it's not going to be the end all be all. Trust me. Like it's so much more than that, because your situation is probably so unique. Your body is so unique. There could be there's a million articles out there. There's so much information. So it's like just trying to sift through all those Google articles and random websites and things like that, looking for the solution to your problem really isn't it. So definitely take a class and already be like familiar with basic breastfeeding practices, with latching, with maintaining your milk supply, with like how milk production really works. Because what happens is women start to find yourself in a panic when it's too late, and then you're days in or weeks in and you're miserable, your baby's miserable, you're wanting to give up because you're like, okay, well, maybe I just can't breastfeed. This isn't for me. Like 90% higher moms can breastfeed. You're able to make breast milk. The reason why you may not be thinking you're producing breast milk is stress, which is like huge deal when it comes to breastfeeding, because breastfeeding is all about the body and the hormones. So if you're stressed out, it's going to block those hormones from coming through that you need in order to produce breast milk. So it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your baby. You're just not going about it in the right way by just turning to Google like, oh, you know, like my baby's latching and pulling off, or maybe you're like, I'm pumping, but I'm not getting enough. Like, because you don't know what to expect or what you're supposed to be getting, you're going to think you're doing it wrong. And that's going to discourage you from wanting to continue to breastfeed. So please, I beg of you, take a breastfeeding class. It's going to save your breastfeeding journey. It's going to save your life. Like, really. It's so much better when we have a good sense of direction. Like, get in contact with lactation consultants in your area. Find somebody who's virtual that you like. Hey. And then that does like lactation consultations and like breastfeeding, like customized breastfeeding plans and things like that for you specifically. Because going to Google, asking your friends in your Facebook group, all that is like good for like temporary easy fixes. But if you're a mom who's really struggling on your breastfeeding journey, you're going to need a little bit more than just like 50 women commenting on your breastfeeding post about like how to get your supply back up or how to get your baby to latch. Talk to a professional, please. And then another thing about that is like, you know what, that's a topic for another day. I'm not even gonna get into that right now. Never mind. But comment below and just kind of like, if you are currently breastfeeding, or if you're thinking about breastfeeding, like comment, let me know like So if you're thinking about breastfeeding, like, let me know maybe like one of your biggest fears about breastfeeding, or what you think could possibly go wrong, or if you're breastfeeding now and you're having trouble, let me know like what kind of issues you're experiencing, because it's so common for moms to want to give up in the early stages. And it's like, if only you just had the right guidance or the right support, like it could work out for you. And then granted, there are certain situations where some moms really cannot breastfeed, but like a majority of moms, we can make milk in some capacity and incorporate breastfeeding into our journey in some capacity almost always. Like, it literally really takes like either a medical condition in yourself or in your baby as to why you cannot produce milk or breastfeed in some way. So I just wanted to give you that. It's so possible. No, it's not easy. It's not. But when you have like the right people on your team, it can definitely be a lot smoother. I can promise you that. I can't promise easy, but I can definitely promise like you'll know like, oh, you know what? I remember reading about that in Sade's ebook, or when I took her class, and like she mentioned this. So let me follow up, deep dive more into that, because this is what I'm experiencing. And then boom, like within hours, you have the answers that you need, versus like going on Google, going down the rabbit hole, like, oh my gosh, do I have this? Do I have lymphoma in my, like, just crazy random things, right? Because every pregnant mom knows, or like every mom knows, once you start looking up symptoms on Google, you like find yourself with this crazy ass like random cancer that only like, I don't know, 1 out of like a billion people get. And so don't do that to yourself. Like, it's not helping you. So yeah, I want to hear about your breastfeeding journey. How's it going? How do you think it's going to go? Or what are you looking forward to? And just let me know. All right. See you.